I gotta say, I feel like Velotric maybe changed the game with this one.
The value to the consumer for a bike like this is off the charts.
What's up everybody, it's Jeremy from Berkshire Bike and Board. This is the new Velotric Nomad 2. There's a lot of important updates that we wanted to see out of the Velotric Nomad first generation bike, and Velotric clearly listened to their consumers, their dealers when they went into designing this bike. A few big changes we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about the updated computer screen and electronics. We're going to talk about the new app they came out with the phone that's super user friendly. We're going to talk about the torque sensor, or what they're calling like torque/cadence sensor. You have the option in the app. That's one of the biggest improvements we really wanted to see as a dealer, because it just makes the ride feel so much smoother. And then I want to talk about who this bike might be for. You know, if you look at the marketing on Velotric's website, they're talking a lot about like a 500-pound carrying capacity or a 1,000-pound towing capacity, and it's like, I wonder who this bike is for. But after cruising around on it for the day today, putting it through its paces for sure, I think I got a pretty good idea of who this bike could be good for. So, without further ado, let's get into the video.
We call these bikes like e-SUVs a lot of times. We kind of joke around and say it like that because a lot of people in America drive SUVs, but they don't really take them off-road that much. Sometimes these bikes are similar. Like, you buy a bike with a big tire like this, it's generally more comfortable to cruise around even on the pavement, but it seems like Velotric made this bike to really go off-road, and that's what we're kind of playing around with today. So the Nomad 2, we really wanted to see some more bike-specific improvements to the model, and they did it. The torque sensor, that is the biggest game changer. It gives you that true kind of like real-world power feel. Now, hold on, I gotta check my notes. I forgot what I was actually talking about here. One other thing that's important to note in this video is that basically with the Nomad 2, they just do two sizes, like regular and large. Regular is like 5'2", 5'3" to 5'10", 5'11", and then the large is like 5'10"-ish to 6'3", 6'4". I'm 5'10", I'm riding a regular. The stem on this bike is adjustable. I just kind of like brought the stem up a little bit and then rotated the handlebars forward. That seems to be a pretty good fit for me. I don't think I would need the large. At 75 pounds, it's a heavier bike, but the smaller size frame, or like the regular size frame, feels really maneuverable to me. Again, I'm 5'10", regular seems like to be right in the money. The biggest update, at least in my opinion, to the Nomad 2 from the first generation is the torque sensor. All of the kind of like entry-level, price point, more direct-to-consumer style e-bikes, or maybe I should say the hub drive e-bikes, often have been cadence sensor, which what that means is like as soon as you start pedaling, it just gives you a standard set of power. It's not dynamic. Whereas once you all of a sudden go to a torque sensor bike, the harder I pedal this bike, the more power it gives me. Don't do this, don't do this. So the last few years of e-bikes, there's kind of two classifications in my opinion. You'd get like the bike manufacturer e-bike with a mid-drive motor and a torque sensor, and then you'd get the like internet brand e-bike with hub drive and a cadence sensor. Velotric listened to what us as dealers and consumers were talking about when we were saying like we want a more improved riding feel. And the number one way you do that is with a torque sensor. It's dynamic, right? It's not just like on or off like a cadence sensor traditionally feels. Because Velotric still wants to cater to that customer that does just want to either hit the throttle or kind of lightly pedal and get full power like a cadence sensor offers, they gave you two options. So on the screen, which I don't think you can do on any other bike, I can actually switch from cadence sensor to torque sensor while I'm riding. If I go to computer setting, then I go to boom, sensor switch, click the M button, and I can change with the blinker, torque or cadence. Personally, I like torque. M for save. You can do this while you're kind of out for a cruise, and then back. It's a really nice computer interface. Pretty cool. Again, I'm a torque sensor guy, so I'm not gonna really use both options, but I thought it was pretty smart what they did to give the consumer some options. That, in my opinion, the torque sensor is a game changer. What brings it to that next category of like a true bike, a bike that rides like a bicycle, which brings it into that realm of your Specialized Como or some of those other options from those bigger manufacturers. A couple other things I want to talk about the Nomad 2 with a focus on comfort, right? Velotric really leaned into a few updates as far as comfort's concerned with this bicycle, and they show. So number one, we got adjustable stem. This just allows me to kind of bring the stem, tilt it backwards or forward a little bit. Generally, tiltable stems like that can be anywhere from $50 to $100 additional. So to have it built into the bike provides a lot of value. It also works really well. Sometimes on the more price point bikes, they come with some really crappy ones. This one's actually designed really well. We got an ergonomic grip here, which means the grip has a little bit of a flange to it. It gives you basically more surface area. Like, it gives your hand more surface area to sit down, which reduces fatigue in the arms. And then probably the part that I'm the most excited about is we got a suspension seat post in here. It doesn't give you a ton of travel, right? It gives you like probably about an inch. It more is like some dampening. I think the suspension seat post coupled with the 26 by 4.0 tire, it gives you a lot of give for a bike that isn't full suspension. Now, speaking of suspension, Velotric went with 100 millimeters of suspension in the front. It does have a full lockout, so you can lock it all out. So overall, they've built in a lot of features in small places to make the bike more comfortable to ride. All right, so this is one of the other things that I'm most excited about with this new bike. Beautiful color screen, nice big screen, it's clean, it's neat, it's really simple. Almost feels like somebody from Apple designed it. Like the user interface is really well put together. They did a really nice job with this. We got the power button on top of the switch here. Then you got right blinker, left blinker, that's pretty straightforward. Plus and minus control your power settings, obviously, and I just like how it's like a nice clean color setting. It's just done really well, I'm impressed. If you hold the M button down, especially at this price point, right? M brings you to menu, a bunch of different things you can kind of scroll through. The thing that everybody's kind of talking about with this bike is if I go to riding mode, I hit select, sensor switch, bingo. Torque mode, cadence mode. I'm on. Again, I really like the torque mode, but pretty awesome how you can basically adjust this on the fly. Couple other settings that they've got in here that I really like. If we go to rear light mode and click M for select on that, it gives you like a really easy little display of what's happening. So like if I press left up here, this 2 setting, the rear light's gonna be flashing while I'm riding and it's gonna become a little bit brighter when I hit the brake. Just really nice safety feature. I hit 3, it's gonna be on when I'm riding or steady. And then when I hit the brakes, it's gonna become brighter and start flashing. So it just gives you some parameters to play around, which I think are really cool. Cruise control. I haven't played around with this too much, but basically if I turn this on like this, I can get riding to a speed I want and hold down the throttle for a few seconds. It's gonna just lock it at that speed. So if I'm cruising along on the bike path and I wanna have a chat with a friend, we're both going 15 miles an hour, I can just lock it in cruise control in 15 miles an hour. Another fun feature that's been kind of adopted from the car industry, and more importantly, really easy to navigate to it with this simple remote and this really nice color screen. So I think, again, they kind of blew me away at this price point, how nice this control and screen is. Like, it's a custom design interface, which we don't often get at under $2,000. Normally you get some like bolt-on out-of-the-box system that the manufacturer hasn't designed, where Velotric designed the system from the ground up. They've done a really, really nice job with the computer interface. The last thing I want to talk about, which I think Velotric knocked it out of the park with, is this app here. It's a really simple, clean, easy-to-use app. You just download the app, essentially. You turn the bike on when it's brand new, you scan the QR code on the computer, and then your phone is just automatically paired with your bike. It'll show you your battery, brings your bike up here, shows you your odometer, your battery settings. What I like though is this bike settings app. Again, it's just clean, it's well designed, it works really well. You can change your setting, you can change your screen setting. The thing that I think is really cool, again, is this sensor swap that they're calling it. You know, cadence or torque. Not a ton of like crazy features in here, but it's got everything you need and nothing you don't. That's what I like in an app. They're talking about firmware updates over the air, which is cool. We've been asking the bike industry for this for a while. It's like kind of adopted from Tesla, where like as they come out with updates of the bike, you're not gonna have to bring it to the bike shop now to update your bike. You're gonna be able to do it right over the phone, really clean, easy for the user to use. So really nice app they've designed here at Velotric for this new Nomad 2. All right, Velotric Nomad 2, I have to say, pleasantly surprised. It feels good that like they listened to what people wanted in the second generation of this bicycle. Things like the torque sensor, the updated computer interface, the power delivery. I mean, I had an absolute blast on this thing riding around today, and it really can handle a lot of what like the urban adventure throws at it. I think it's interesting. Like, I've been thinking a lot about who this bike is for. It's really meant for that person who wants to get out, do some exploring, dirt roads, goat paths, grassy trails, that kind of thing. You know, maybe towing a picnic behind you or towing a dog in a bike trailer. Overall, I was blown away. I think it's a huge step in the way of like refinement for Velotric as a brand. Like, they've cleaned up a lot of the loose ends. The computer interface is clean. The cable routing is clean. The power delivery is much more real feeling. They've done a really nice job with this bike. I'm smiling the whole time, which is generally a good sign of a bike well made. So the quality, like overall, I think the biggest takeaway from this new bike compared to the last one, and just where Velotric's headed as a brand, is the value to the consumer for a bike like this is off the charts. For sub $2,000 or $1,999, you're getting an incredibly capable, feels like it's really well built, put together package that can basically go anywhere, do anything. If I want to kind of get out and explore and do a little bit of everything, Velotric Nomad 2 is your package to do it, and at a really, really affordable price. If you like this kind of comment, give us a thumbs up, and like I always say, round up for distance, round up for time. Thanks for watching.